Assalamualaikum and welcome to TTDT live session. I'm Sabina Victor, the host, and with me today is Miss Farah Gul. Miss Farah Gul is a teacher of English at the Beacon School System. She has an experience of 5 years. So welcome, Miss Farah Gul. How are you today?
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you, Miss Sabina, for a wonderful vector. A wonderful intro. I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to be for going live and to perform on this. So the topic for today that we're going to I'm going to discuss on is going to is about stress management that you all can see on the slide. um, Basically, what is stress management? Stress management is a very vast topic, and we're not going to go in that detail. I'm just going to briefly go on with the flow that how what is stress, what causes stress, and how we can manage it positively. Next, please. Miss Sabina, before we move on, I just want to ask you one thing that are you stressed? And what stresses you out, and how do you currently handle stress?
Actually, when I work under pressure, that causes stress. When I have too many tasks at hand, that makes me bogged down. And how do I handle my stresses? I try to keep myself calm. I relax myself and I try to assess the entire situation, seeing that which task I should do first, then second, and then third. And once I put my tasks according to their order of priority, I manage to complete it. And at the same time, I avoid procrastination. And once my task gets completed, I try to go for me time, because me time gives me the opportunity to relax and then to come back fresh with new ideas for my company. So that's how I handle stress.
That's a wonderful way that you deal or you handle the stress is, and that's what we're going to learn further. But yes, as a matter of fact, that we all one every individual goes through the stress, and that's a part of life. But the main thing that we need to know that how we need to deal with the stress and how we need to overcome with that. So that what I'm going to be here to just guide you out a bit of it, that how it can help you out to manage your stress positively. Next slide, please. First thing that what we are going to uh, understand that what stress actually is. It's basically a way that how we take things and how physically and mentally we get into it or get affected by it. So it's something that how your body reacts to certain situation. So that's how we get into stress. We get into a fight or flight response just because when we get into certain situations we get to know that how we need to react to it. Our body turns into to prevent to that situation, to get over that situation. Our body automatically react to it. So that's basically the fight and flight response that we get when we are stressed out. So that's how basically I want to over here I want to just add on one story of three friends that that's a bit of funny story that with different you can say criteria or level of stress that three individuals were having. So basically there were three friends sitting together and having a coffee together, and one of the friends, while having the chit chat, the topic in between came stress, that how stressful their life is and how they deal with that. So one of the friend came up and he said that you know what, that I feel so much stress when I'm having an audit in the company at the end of year and at the end of the year. And at that time I feel more stressed because I have to work overtime, there's more workload, so I feel so stressed out at that time. The second of the person, the second friend came up and said, "Oh, I think that I'm being more stressed out because every month I have to think of how to pay the bills, and because of the paying the utility bills every month, that's bringing the stress to me. So that's every month I'm having a stress." Third friend was sitting silently, and he was like, um, the other two were like that, why are you so silent? And he was like, you know what, by just listening to you two, it's just giving me stress already. And it's just that one of you get the stress at the end of the year, one of you get every monthly, but to me the stress is every day when I go home because I have to deal with my wife. So it's something that three individuals, the criteria of stress is different, their level of stress was different. So every person over here has the stress according to their life, according to how they deal with it, or according to the situation they are in. They just need to know that how they need to handle it according to the stress level they're having. Next slide, please. Now the question arises that, is all stress bad, Miss Sabina? Do you think?
In when I'm overburdened, yes, stress becomes bad. When I have deadlines to meet, in that way, stress becomes bad for me because I start noticing the effects of it, where in the form of sleepless nights, or sometimes even my skin turns pale, or I also sometimes experience hair loss. So in
Mhm.
this scenario, stress becomes bad.
Yes, exactly. But that's what I'm going to tell you about here, that stress, not all stress is going to be bad, because that's how we need to deal with the stress, and then we need to know the difference between two stresses. This is one stress is distress, in which you burdenize yourself, as what you mentioned, Miss Sabina, that you, when you overburdenize yourself, when you have sleepless nights, when you think that you're not meeting up the deadlines, or something that brings you the distress and gives you anxiety, pain, or maybe it brings you to depression when something is not going according to your will or according to your understanding. Yeah, that maybe, or that is basically a bad stress that your body may go into, your body get affected. The other stress that I'm talking about is the eustress, in which that you, a stress which brings you towards any goal, that brings near to towards your motivation, to your aim. That's a stress that's a good stress, in which you having a stress for some time, just because, as you can take the example that the students who are giving the assessments, they are having stress before the assessments because they want to do achieve something at the end of it. So at the end of achievement, I mean, at the end of the result, what they're going to do, they achieve their goal, right? They're going to pass, they're going to achieve their aim, that they have to get good result. Even if I'll talk about myself, I'm taking this presentation here. This is about stress management, but I was even stressed out myself. But something, it is not going to be considered as distress. It's going to be a eustress, because I know that at the end of it, I'm going to achieve something. So something which is bring you towards or motivate you towards the goal, towards your aim, that's going to be considered as a good stress. So that's how the difference between two of the stresses. Next, please. Identifying stresses. Basically, I can say that there are different situations, as I have mentioned before, in regard of the three friends I told the story, that it totally depends of the situations. It totally depends on how you. For me, if I am maybe that I'm going to give a paper that's bringing stress to me. But for you, Miss Sabina, I think that's not a stress for you, because you're so confident on it. Maybe coming live for me, that was a stress for me, but you're a pro into it, you're very usual into it, so maybe that's not a stress for you. So it totally depends the situation of on people to people, that how we take the things and how we deal with it, right? Something that we are some situation come very uncertain to us, and we are not mentally prepared for it. it can be life and death, it can be any accident or something. So eventually we get into a stress, right? We get that how we're going to get through it, how we're going to life transition, the whole life gets you don't know what's going to come next, right? So anything that which is going to be very uncertain for you, going to give you the, that's going to be the you can say the prompt for the stress, right? It can be your you want to do something but you are unable to, something that you have put investment on and you got a fraud, or you didn't achieve that, right? So something which is not going around your will, or it's going against your will, that's something that's going to give you stress. Next slide, please. There are some more situations that we also get stressed through, is that when we are working, we get stressed when we're in workplace. I remember that one time I was there was some observation going on in my school, and at that time, that's something that, it's long time back that I'm talking about, that when there was something that it was not planned, things were not according to the criteria, and we had to overwork ourselves because things were not um, aligned together so that it could have worked. So we teachers were being stressed out at that time. Something maybe that I have an observation of in my own class, I get stressed out because I was not mentally prepared for it. I was not physically stable. I was not maybe in mood of going for it. So something that you are not mentally prepared, you are have no my things were incomplete, something that which is going to be if I keep on lingering on something that's come on my part, that how I deal with it, something that I get to know that I need to be organized, I need to be on time, I need to be specified, only then I can manage things. So yes, stress can come into your workplace when your bosses are bringing a lot of workload on you, or your colleagues are not cooperating with you, or they're not supporting your family members. It can come up to your family members that your relationship with your family members are not very healthy, and you think that they're the cause of your stress. They are bringing up the stress to you in your life. It can be your financial stresses as well. It can be your environmental that what's around. Sometimes the people around you are so negative that in and actual the surrounding gets, the environment gets very negative, and it gives the stress, right? What are the, maybe your health issues can give you stress. Any chronic disease, any chronic illness that gives you stress. So anything that gives you stress, these are the stressors that that somewhere, one way or the other, we are being dealt with it, or we are being the part of it. One way or the every individual have different sort of stress, and they deal with it accordingly. They just need to know the right direction, that how they need to manage it, then how they need to get over with it. We need to be organized. Next slide, please. What we're going to learn in the next slide, that how these stresses affects your body, that it when you're being stressed, when you're being um overburdenized, unorganized, and you have so much of going on in your body, that's how you physically and mentally you get affected. So you get weight gain, weight loss, hair loss, your heart palpitation gets high, high blood pressure, you get emotional mood swings, anxiety, and it lead to depression as well. And of course, some of the people try to escape through this by getting addicted to drugs. That is the worst part of it, that how they try to deal with the stress. And you know that and I can say that from past few days, I've been not from past few days, from past few months, I've been listening that even the students these days are being stressed out so much because of the competition, because of the pressure from their parents of getting good marks. They are being so stressed, and there is a high rate of overall, if I talk about it, that there is a high rate the students are suiciding because of this. So it's just that something that we need to think over it, that we need to change, bring a change in ourselves, being a parent, being a colleague, being a sibling, being a mother, and what being a boss as well. We need to think that how we need to bring up a positive environment to for us around ourselves and to others, that how we need to bring this thing down for others as well, and personally as well we need to work on it, that how we need to work on it. If we are being given into such situation, we need to how we can come overcome with it and how we can come out of it. Next slide please. So that's what we're going to learn in the next slide, that's how we can manage the stress. So there are different ways. Not all situations will match with the strategies that is mentioned here. You just need to know the right strategy to go along with your situation. I will not say that exercising will help you if you're very much mentally stressed and you need to talk out. Sometimes you need when there is a need of talking out, because if I say you need to relax, you need to do meditation, exercise and all that, but still it's sometimes the situation is so worse that you do not even come out of it, even though after all doing all these exercises and strategies, using all those strategies, do not come out of those the stress. So the thing is that you need to talk to the right person you trust on, somebody you think that you feel reliable on, or you can, even if you don't have anybody like that, you can go for a counselor as well. There's no harm, I repeat myself, there's no harm to go for the counseling, because it's considered to be a taboo in our culture that oh, she's going for a counseling or something is wrong with her. It's nothing like that. We have made it very difficult for ourselves. We really need to talk out and go for life coaching wherever it's required. It depends, it totally depends on the situation. If you think that meditation, yoga, or physical, even breathing techniques really helps when you are being stressed, you feel very light when you are using these strategies for managing the stress. In India, as well, you can see that there's a practice of having a laughter therapy, in which what they do, they just go out in the park and they laugh out loudly, and that's how they take out the stress, right? So there's different techniques, different methods. Some people go for aromatherapy, some go for just go for having your me time, your music. Next slide please. You just go on for your own time. You just think that you want to avoid people for something, that's totally fine. Just lock yourself in your room, turn on some light music, have your me time, and that's very sane for your own mind. And I think that's very much needed for every person. You need to have the set boundaries for everybody. You need to know that where to say no. People these days, they need to learn that where to say no and what's your limit. And nobody has a right to go beyond your limits. So that's the main things that we need to work on, and we need do not have to compromise on our beliefs and our values. That's something that you do not have to sacrifice at all. I believe that we need to be firm on our decisions. We need to know that what our values, what our beliefs, and no one has the right to cross over that. So it's something that you need to think of it, that you need to be more organized, so that you do not have to work at the end, even if you're working as well. The way I manage stress in my workplace is that I try my best. I will not say 100%, but I try my best that I do not prolong my things. I try to organize my things timely. I meet my deadlines because I am on it, because I know what's coming up next, what's going to be the expectation from my bosses. So I know that how I have to meet that. So something which you need to be, even if your personal life as well, you need to be organized. You need to prioritize things, that how you need to meet up your deadline, how you need to which is your kids time, which is your school time, which is your working time, office time, whatever it is. You need to balance it out very much, so that you should have a sanity of your mind, and you do not feel stressed at the end of the day. So that's how you need to manage your things accordingly. And next slide please. So the basically the what the I have told you, the tips and tricks that I've told you, that how we need to manage the stress. These are some of the benefits that we get at the end of it when we actually manage or utilize our time positively and accordingly. Of course, we first of all, what benefit, the first benefit that we're going to get is that we physically and mentally we get stable, we get more healthier, we get more energized, we get positive energy, you will feel happier and hopeful. You will feel that everything is going on place, and you feel so calm, and you feel you will be more focused on your dreams, you will be more focused on your vision. So that's how, when you try to manage the stress, even at your workplace, even at your um, personal life, in your relationships with your kids, around you, you need to, when you manage it properly, give time to yourself as well, manage the time with them as well, that how much, what is the limits for them as well, for yourself as well. If you manage that properly, you will definitely going to have a very balanced life. Next slide, please. So there are some few apps that I wanted to share with you all, that maybe or help, it can be helpful to you all. As you can see that these are the few apps named here. This is mindfulness app, Calm, Omwana, and these are the apps that you can download, and maybe it could be helpful for you for bringing calm in your body, and it can bring some stress. It can be used as a stress reliever. Next slide, please. All right. So the next word, I mean, all of it, to summarize everything, the whole presentation, the thing that comes in my mind is that the key word for this is balance, as I've used that before as well. You need to know that how to balance your life, how to prioritize things, how to manage your working place and your home, personally and professional life separately. You need to keep a balance between that, and you need to know that how we need to work on it. That's basically you who's going to bring a change. It's not anybody else who's going to do it. I'm here just to guide you out. I'm just here to tell you about what is and how we can go with it, but you're the one who's going to take the action accordingly. So just balance yourself, balance your professional personal life, and you'll see the difference. You'll definitely going to see the difference. There's one last thing. Please minimize. I just want to add on, just to bring a fun onto it. Um, Still, after having this whole session, if you think that still you are not being relieved, and there's some anger and there's aggression somebody is bringing into your life, and you just can't bear it, so you can do one trick right now, just with me being on the floor, that you just need to bring this two finger right hand up, and bring this two fingers gap, open up this fingers like this with a gap, and close your eyes. Once you close your eyes, I'm doing the same with me. All right. So close your eyes, and think of, imagine the person's face that brings, actually, I can't say that there's nobody for you that who will not be you're very stress free and there's nobody. There's maybe, and definitely going to be somebody in your mind as well, who you think, and it gives you aggression and anger. So imagine of that person's face right there in between of this two fingers gap, and think of this person's face, yeah, and you just need to squish. And I feel when you squish it, you will feel a little relieved by doing this. That it can be your boss, it can be your any relation from your family that brings you stress. That even thinking of his name or her name that brings you stress, just think of it and squish his uh, picture in your fingers, and see that how relieved you feel in that. So yeah, I hope that it helped you out right now being in the session. It might have given you some sort of relief right now. All right, next slide, please. That's the end of it, and I hope that you all like my session. Any question at the end? Of, I would request if anybody has a question. So I'm here.
So far, there is no question, Miss Farah, but I enjoyed your your live session on stress management, and also that you addressed, the ways of how to, bring stress under control. So hats off to you for an amazing session, and that's all from our side. So thank you, Ms. Faragul, for taking our time to share your insight about stress management. So until then, next time, take good care of yourself, dear audience.
And
Allah
thank
Hafiz.
you so much, Miss Sabina, for being with me and being so supportive and accommodating. Thank you so much for taking me live, and this was a great opportunity that I had. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Allah Hafiz, dear
Allah
audience.
Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.